you know, you see something enough times, you can kind of set it aside and move on to something else.
Yeah. It's not your life's work. It's a theory paper. You know? So, yeah. The other, I was thinking the thing that was really helpful is occasionally have breakfast with some of your classmates because they're all in the same boat. And it's really helpful that they're tripping up on step 1 as well, or step 2, and over coffee or wine or carbs. It's helpful to hear that. There's something about it that makes you think you're not going crazy. I'm serious.
Even just an email.
Yeah. Well, the emails weren't as
Whether it's
helpful.
to
Yeah.
I looked at a OSR 12 paper. He was on my degree committee, Kurt Moss, and it really helped to see that, wow, he actually got it done. And everything was perfect on that paper. It really set the bar. So it was a little intimidating, but I really liked that because it gave me a concrete example. And I'm appreciative that they made that available. And I really like the idea of saying, getting it started as soon as you can and not delaying is really important.
Just when we thought we were going to get along now.
I don't know if this was part of your plan, but the question I have is, what are you getting, and you also hear some statements of what you're getting from this conversation?
From the 15 group or from the 16 group?
Yeah.
Everybody.
I'm getting a good dose of humanity, which is appreciated in the face of, big things.
I have confidence you're all still living and breathing, so.
But only some of them are here.
Where are the bodies?
We're all that's left.
I'm really encouraged by the fact that you're all encouraged, or how do I say this? That it is really a personal thing. It's not a, I don't need to keep looking outside. It's really time to just go ahead and look inside, skip the outside step, and just go straight inside what's interesting.
Well, I wouldn't say skip, it's a both and, but more weighted and internal. And I would say, I'm a great advisor in terms of I'm a checkbox, okay, I need to do this. And my advisor kept reminding me, Addie, that pay attention what is important to you and about what you want. It's not just about doing this task. And I think that was the one thing that I regret looking back at my theory paper. I did it out of meeting all the checkpoints, and I didn't pay attention to my inside what I wanted. And so now, therefore, I'm not so attached to my theory paper as much.
So what I'm getting out of the conversation personally is an appreciation for the design of the program. Because for me, it's very clear this demarcation between the OSR 15 people here and OSR 16, and where we were this time last year in the seats that you are in now, and you can see the difference. I can see the difference. We can see the difference in us as we have gone through the second year of the program. And so for me, it reinforces that appreciation for the design of the program itself.
I'll add to that because I just have this sense that, because I remember being here, and I remember many of us being here, and I could not have imagined us being here in this spot last year, and certainly not myself. Just here just volunteering. Yeah, exactly. So just an appreciation for that, and then this community and how important it is. Both this OSR 15 folks that we've all grown through this together, and then that we're all part of the same community. It's really special.
I have one other observation just in this dialogue, that it's meant a lot to me, the support that we've had from you as the cohort going before. The potluck, the taking the time to have this dialogue and be able to just see and hear the experience. And I think, sometimes I know we're very focused on often our current work, but just what it means in terms of the broader community and the experience that people go through and how valuable it is. So I'm thinking about people who are new, thinking about the program and how that just before and after, and how important that connection is.
Yeah, I didn't get until about an hour into this that you're really doing this for us.
Yeah, I thought it was.
You heard the part where you had your
Green
green
as a
caps.
So, really,
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
It helps.
It helps.
Any other thoughts about what you've got?
I kind of wanted to respond to the inquiry about where are you going with your work and what is this going to look like. And for me, that was a huge question before I started the program, as I stalked it for a year and postponed enrolling and all that. And it seemed to me that there were, it's like, well, what do people do and how were they prepared to do what they do? And it looked to me like there were two pretty clear avenues. You became an independent consultant or you were within a very large organization. And it's like, all along, it's like, I'm not, I can do one or the other, but that's not really where I want to go. And where is the small group model, working in a small team of 5 or 6 people, which I had an amazing experience before starting school. And then we had design team, and then we had consulting team, and all of this, work together. And that idea of having a small community practice or consulting group or something is, it's not clear exactly how that's going to play out, but I feel like I'm really clearly and deeply exploring that path in some very explicit ways, now working with 2 other classmates in work that, the project phase for school is wrapped up. We've got a map of a series of things we'd like to continue for the next 6 to 9 months and perhaps longer, and how that may evolve into continuing work and vocation is not entirely clear, but we can make the road as we walk on it. And that's just incredibly freeing, and I couldn't have imagined that when I came in. With all of my questions, it's like, well, how do you do it? And how do you make money? And what kind of job? And who's going to hire me at this point in my life? To do the kind of things I really love. And those questions that were so present they're not answered, and they haven't gone away, and they have a completely different place in my life as being now. Okay, now I'm complete.
But what you said, I want to tag on because if you have, I appreciate the program where they encourage you that you're working and going to school, because then you can apply what you learn at your current work or your community. I would say that's where most of my learning, not most, a lot of my learning also was about then using it right away and letting it play with it and experiment and like, okay, this worked, that didn't work, what can I do differently? And so it's not about waiting till you graduate, then you use it. It's more about immediately, whether it's with your family or your work, your community.
It's here and now.
So use it while you, I would say.
And that leads me into, unless there are other questions.
I'm a little curious about the balance between family, work, and this community. And this, it seems like a lot of really intense sharing, and it's really inspiring and exciting. But how do people experience knowledge and then being in places, either in a workplace where maybe you would be way different than what they're ready for, or in your family, your home community, how do you kind of apply that?
Maybe Brian should answer the question.
And we're sort of unique in that respect. We're married. We came into the program, we've done it as a married couple.
They're still married.
For your whole family.
No one's doing the dishes when we're working on our papers.
I was going to offer something on that because I work full-time at Microsoft, and I work pretty diligently on the projects that we've done here. And